coming up in this episode of Professional Jealousy.
Ask for money, you'll get advice, and ask for advice and you'll get money. I want to own neck up 30-minute facials and be the best 30-minute facial in the world. Not this country, in the world. It's really nice to work for someone else and go to sleep and not have to worry about payroll. It's going to shine a mirror to you every single day. It's going to require you to be so resilient on a daily basis that it can wear on you.
Hello, I'm Natasha Jakubowski, and this is my podcast, Professional Jealousy, where I talk to people I'm impressed by and, yes, just a little bit envious of. Today, I'm talking with Rachel Liverman, the founder and CEO of Glowbar, the fastest growing skincare brand transforming the way people think about facials. Amazingly, Rachel is a third-generation esthetician, building an expert-led brand with over 20 locations and a growing product line. And I love beauty. So hello, Rachel. I'm so happy to have you as a guest.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
I know. I actually live close. I feel like I live in between. I live in Soho, so I'm in between Tribeca and Union Square Glowbars. For anyone that doesn't know your brand, can you give us the elevator pitch for Glowbar?
Yes, I would love to, and we have to make sure that you come into a Glowbar ASAP.
Absolutely.
So Glowbar is the world's largest facial membership. And so what does that mean? Glowbar pioneered the 30-minute customized facial, and we have 22 locations nationwide. We're everywhere from DC all the way up to Boston, so on the East Coast. And we specialize in maintaining your skin every single month with 30-minute customized expert facials. So your licensed esthetician is going to have you come in, tell us what your skincare goals are, what your concerns are, and help you accomplish them throughout every single month's appointment. So it's been really, really fun to build. I can't wait to talk to you more about it.
Yeah, amazing. What was the trigger for starting the brand?
Yeah, so what makes Glowbar so special, in my opinion, is that this is a legacy brand. And a lot of
Really?
people don't know that, but my grandmother pioneered skincare in the United States in the 1970s. And so, although I didn't start the business until 2019 officially, I think that this was always in the back of my head as like, I've got to do something in skincare. My grandmother pioneered skincare in the US. How can I reinvent it? How can I make it so that you and I have a place to go that feels really modern and exactly what we need and want as consumers? And so, um, I was working in beauty for a decade, and my mom was always asking me, Rach, you going to get facials? Like, you're a cobbler's son with no shoes. And I'm like, Mom, no, I don't like getting facials. They're too long. They're too expensive. I don't know who to trust. It's just not an experience that I, as a busy woman and consumer, want to do every month. And in that same dinner, I wrote an email to myself and just wrote 30-minute facial, $65, easy pop in, pop out, licensed estheticians, only do the things that really make an impact in your skin. So none of the fluff of the facial, like no massage, no steam, no, washing of the face even during the facial. We actually ask clients to wash their face beforehand. And I don't know. I don't know if other entrepreneurs have said this to you, but it was in that email I wrote to myself that I think it was the first step to making it happen. And something in me was provoked and sparked. And every night and weekends I worked on it while I kept my job. And here we are today.
I know, amazing. Yeah, so that kind of mindset shift of writing the email and thinking, all right, I'm actually going to do this. I'm actually going to do this. And how did you start? I mean, like, it's quite a capital intensive kind of undertaking, presumably. Like, how did you literally go from email to name? How did you name it?
Yeah.
And then did you raise money? Like, tell me about like getting it up and started.
Yeah. I figured you would be curious about this with your career. So I was living in a studio apartment. When I say a studio, I mean exactly what you're imagining. Kitchen in the living room, in the bedroom, like all one room. And I was on the phone with my two best friends and I was like, guys, I have this idea. And by this point, they're like rolling their eyes. They're like, oh, Rachel has another idea. It's like, oh, here we go again. And I said, skincare concept, is highly efficient. And one of my girlfriends, they are sisters. And so they argue about who actually said the name. I think it was Marissa, but we'll give it to either of them, whoever we're talking to. And they just said, what about Glowbar? And I was like, oh my God, let's see if it's available on trademark. And so from there, got the trademark and was very lucky to do so. After that, I worked nights and weekends for about 6 months until leaving my full-time job. And once I left my full-time job, I started fundraising. So I raised $1 million to get the first few glow bars up and open. And the $1 million came from anyone that I knew, but specifically my friends and family. My mom wrote me our first check, and from there, just other family members or friends or colleagues, and a lot of my investors are people that I used to work with. So I feel like that was a big learning for me. They always say your network is so important and maintaining relationships is so important, and in my experience, it allowed me this next chapter, and so I can't suggest enough that people really hold on to relationships.
Yeah, that says a lot. Like friends and family believing that you can do this is amazing, and writing a check for it. What were you doing in beauty before? What was your job that you managed to save and start going into it full time?
Yeah, so I worked for a decade in beauty. I started my career at a company called Birchbox.
Yeah.
And so for a very long time, I was known as Rachel from Birchbox. Um, and it was because, Birchbox was this incredible new business model, right?
Mm.
Sampling, subscription model in the comfort of your own home. And I love newness. I love innovation. I get bored very easily. And so like Birchbox was the best thing that could have ever happened to me in my career. And so I was there and then I left by the time I had this idea for Glowbar. I was working in business development for a company called Beauty Blender, the
Yeah.
pink makeup sponge that we all love and adore. And I went to the founder, who is a woman named Rianne Silva. She's amazing. She's an original girl boss. And I just said, I have an idea. I'm not going to not do my work for you, but on the nights and weekends, I just want to be honest with you that I have this idea that I feel really passionately about. And she was one of the first people to support me.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. It's funny where I spoke to Rebecca Minkoff, who was like, she did a similar thing and told the person that she was working for, and they were like, okay, you've got to leave. You got to leave and do it.
I mean, that mentality to me is so scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
And I think and I hope that we've evolved from those days. I mean, Rebecca is one of the most impressive. Talk about being jealous of her career and just like watching her just continue to evolve and create newness. I just love her. But like uh I always tell my team, I'm like, build your resume while you're here. Like whatever you're gonna do next, like I hope you start a business. I will be an angel investor for you, please. So
Yeah, that's amazing. I feel like it is a generational thing, I think.
mhm.
I mean, like, how, this wasn't what I was going to ask at all, but like, it's interesting thinking about how you build a culture. So you decided, you were doing this, you've got locations. A lot of it is about relationships, both with consumers and their estheticians. But like, how do you build your culture for Glowbar? Like, how do you make sure that people who work for you, who I'm assuming are kind of Gen Z, are really understanding what the brand is about and what sort of culture you want?
Yeah, so we're a people business. First and foremost, we're a people business that does skincare. And so culture has been the number one priority since day one. And so I always tell people culture needs a foundation. And parts of that foundation are core values, a mission statement, annual objectives, things like that can ground everyone, right? As your organization grows, everyone should be grounded with like these core principles, tenets of the brand. And so from day one, we've had our core values, and they actually stand for DOPEST. And we live and breathe by them, and they're intertwined in weekly conversations, recognition every quarter, annual reviews, quarterly goal setting. Like we just live and breathe by them. We also have our mission statement, and our
Which
mission
is
statement is bigger than all of us. It's to help people feel confident in their skin. But something that we educate on day one of training with anyone that joins the team is that confidence in your skin isn't just the skin on the outside. It's here. It's like confidence in who you are, that you're taking care of yourself. Like, I don't know about you, but like when I go take care of myself, even for half an hour, I'm like, okay, I got this. I spent 30 minutes just on me, and it makes you feel really good. And we believe at Glowbar, when you feel good, you do good out in your communities. And so we just talk about those things almost ad nauseum. Repetition is something that I think people forget in leadership roles. you I'm kind of a broken record. All I talk about is our mission statement and our culture values. But because of that, it's now thread throughout the entire company. And that's how we've built it since day one.
if Glowbar were a person, how would you describe them as their personality, etc.?
Me. I really at Glowbar, how I the business is me. It really is. It's everything about me. It's so our core values, actually, my friend came to visit the office for the first time a couple months ago, and on a wall it has DOPEST, and it's driven, outgoing, problem solving, enthusiastic, self-aware, and trustworthy. And he looked at them and he goes, "That's just you." And I'm not humble. This isn't a humble brag. This is like genuinely how I show up. And I think
Yeah.
it makes a lot of sense that like this was my baby, this is my baby to this day. And I did what I know best, which is to be myself. And so it kind of shows up like that. I think like a couple things that are not in that dopest core values are
Mhm.
like frugality. We're really like scrappy, right? I'm like very entrepreneurial. So that's like something about me also that is really prevalent. I also think playful. We play pranks on each other at Glowbar. Like, I'm not even kidding you. Like, we have so much fun at the office, and I think that like if you came in, you'd see all of that. And so, um, it's been really fun to build something that reflects kind of how I like to operate and show up in this world.
Thinking about so much of the brand being you, what traits do you think have helped you succeed as a founder? Um, yeah.
I think self-awareness number one. I am so far from perfect. I am so far from the smartest person in the room. Um, but I will work the hardest. And I think that
Nice.
me being able to show up self-aware and showing up with that vulnerability has bred self-awareness and vulnerability in my team around me. And they're able to show up like that. And that has a trickle down effect or a cross effect to their other team members. And so self-awareness really um is the quality I think that has set me up for success. And then I think also, again, that vulnerability, being able to ask for help. I have not built Glowbar myself. I have I have barely made a decision without at least one other person weighing in on it.
Mhm.
You and I were talking about Craig Dubitsky. The way him and I started talking was I messaged him on LinkedIn out of the blue probably 10 years ago now to tell him about Glowbar and to ask him for advice. I heard this thing years ago, and it was when I was fundraising, and it's ask for money, you'll get advice, and ask for advice and you'll get money. And it's not that I'm always asking for help and advice to get money, but it does open up just like such a wealth of wisdom and knowledge, and then eventually hopefully a connection and network, and you never know, it could help you with fundraising in the future. So yeah, that's how I've been leading, and I think those two things have set me up for success.
That's pretty amazing, the Craig story. Any any bits of advice like that, I feel like that's even just the thought that you would, reach out to someone and ask for some advice. Like any other things that you think young founders should be thinking about that aren't just in the kind of MBA textbook of things that are like, yeah, give this a try.
Um, I mean, yeah. Oh my God, so many, and don't get me started on the MBA textbook because I have so much to say about it. Um, and I want to stay positive, so we won't go there.
Yeah.
But ask for help. I tell my team all the time, try three and then me. So I think that's a great just like snippet for delegating when you're a leader that I think a lot of young founders and part of the cycle of your business and stage of your business, you do have to do everything on your own, and that's actually part of the
Mm.
learning and creating a really successful business is knowing all the aspects of it. I think that once you do have team members that have a little bit more responsibility, encouraging them to also ask three other people, whether it's mentors, peers, colleagues, even now ChatGPT. Like you never know what information you can get out there that can help you make the best decision possible. I also think that I I think that founders oftentimes um think that there's only one way of doing something, and I have built Glowbar differently than any other brick and mortar business. We have some of the best unit economics out there. We have defined a category called well care because we stood out from everyone else. And
Mhm.
so I think like always asking yourselves to get creative, like even when someone, founders are always asking me for time and I'll look at their budgets or P&Ls and I'm like, "Why are you spending 50 grand on that?" Like, even it's just, like, asking yourselves the question, like, you can always trim things down, and I think that, um, it's really important to always be frugal in starting a business because, um, capital is hard to find, and you always end up needing more of it in some areas, and so really always acting as if you are a startup and kind of, like, don't have these big budgets behind you, I think is a really important foundation to set at the beginning.
Yeah, I feel like the in-person business funny, my husband had a startup that was consumer products, and now he's in tech, and he's like, "It's so much easier to be profitable." And I feel like you've got an extra layer because you don't just have products, you have service, you have locations, you have, all types of workforce, not just, corporate, but, people actually um, creating the experience. Like since that first round, how you talk a lot about being frugal. How have you managed the money? Have you focused on profitability? Have you had to raise? Like what's your kind of story in that kind of frugality and scaling?
Yeah. Um, I raised $1 million at the beginning, which I knew would get us a few studios, with the cost of the build out and the team and everything. And for those first few studios, it was a couple of us on corporate, right? Like overseeing the business. Everything was really put into the studios. And that's how we continue to operate. Most of our budget and capital goes towards the four walls of our studios. Um, Eventually I did need to bring on a private equity partner, and I found amazing partners in Peterson Partners out of Utah.
Hmm.
And I raised a Series A of $10 million to fund since Studio 6. So that 10 million we've been using since 2022. So
Got it.
actually our 3-year anniversary is coming up this month with Peterson Partners. And we have made that last for a very, very long time. We've over tripled the business, which is what we set out to do together. And I think that's just being extremely frugal and scrappy and always asking ourselves, is this a want or a need? I
Yeah.
don't know if anyone grew up with parents saying that. My mom used to always say that to me. And she still does, frankly. And now I find myself becoming my mother because I'm going into my, meetings being like, is this a want or a need? But
Totally.
it's a really smart question to ask yourselves. And I believe that so many businesses have grown themselves out of business by raising too much capital, spending it thinking they're gonna, like 10x the business in 2 years. And that's just not reality. That's just not, yes, maybe for the 0.05%, that is the reality. The chat GPT, the OpenAI, Facebook, like Meta, all of those, businesses that we can rattle off, but those are only a handful of businesses that we can really
Hmm.
speak to. Other businesses, it's one of my favorite things to do is Google when a business was started because I'll tell a quick story. A couple of years ago, I walked into Shake Shack
Hmm.
and one of their iPads was out, and there was this beautiful sign that said, "We're sorry, like we're really good at cooking burgers or something, and technology is not our thing. Like, please be patient with us." Something very cute, very on brand. It had the Shake Shack green on it, whatever. And I remember saying to myself, "Oh, we are so far from this. Like, if an iPad broke at Glowbar, it- no one, like, I don't even, maybe someone would handwrite a sign on a post-it and put it up." And it just like felt like Shake Shack had everything. And I went to my phone and I said, "When did Shake Shack get founded?" And even a few years ago, it said 20 years prior.
Yeah.
And I said, "Look at that. That's 20 years of perfecting the playbook." And I was in year 2 or 3 when I looked at my phone that day. And so it just really taught me that it takes a long time to start these incredibly amazing businesses. And I kind of have had to give myself some grace there.
Yeah. So you're 6 years in. How has the concept evolved? I do feel like beauty, skincare, wellness is one of the most fast moving kind of areas, landscapes. How has the concept evolved?
Yeah. The really cool thing about Glowbar is that the framework and the like guardrails of the business, 30 minutes, $65 membership,
Mhm.
highly customized, effective, standardized, all of that culture is really the same as it was on day one. Where we've been able to evolve, and to your point, is that skincare is one of the most innovative industries, which is why I love it so much because it's like always changing. And like, I don't know about you, but I'm learning on Skin Talk every day a new ingredient. I'm like, how do I not know? I study this all day long. I've got a team of 400 estheticians today. But we are always innovating in the treatment room. And so making sure that we are providing our clients with newness in the treatment room, whether it's new modalities, new treatments, new chemical peels. If we learn about an ingredient that's really helping solve hyperpigmentation, we want to have it in our treatment rooms and things like that. So that's how we see evolution and growth at Glowbar.
I'm curious, as uh, the mother of a 13-year-old daughter, and who is like obsessed. She's not allowed TikTok, but somehow it doesn't seem to make any difference. She gets it from other places. I'm very struck by the fact that she has more skincare knowledge, more products, a vanity full of like stuff, and she'll just sit there and play and put makeup on and do, lots of different skincare steps. I'm curious, like, I've noticed that you haven't gone into like the MedSpa and Kardashian fillers and Botox, and, as someone that is still trying to resist all of that stuff, like, why haven't you?
Yeah. Uh, so I believe in focused business models. I think that I use this term internally called the Cheesecake Factory theory, which is, and by the way, I love Cheesecake Factory, so do not get me wrong here. But
Big menus.
Cheesecake Factory has a huge menu and they're great at like nothing, but
Hmm.
they're good at everything, right? You can get Thai food, you can get Italian food, but nothing is like spectacular besides that brown bread. But that's for another day. And I never wanted to be that. I was like,
Yeah.
I want to own a category. I want to own neck up 30-minute facials and be the best 30-minute facial in the world, not this country, in the world. And in order to do that, you have to stay focused and you cannot get distracted. The amount of times that my board has said, "Rach, oh, those Botox margins are beautiful." I'm like, I get it and it's tempting. And those margins and that revenue is really, really tempting, but that's not what Glowbar is known for. It's not what we set out to do. And there are so many people we can still help with our business model
Mhm.
staying focused that we just haven't done it. I also believe that the founder should be the expert in the business. And I don't know the med spa world. I couldn't guide you as an esthetician on how to even do a, injectable business. I couldn't tell you what vendors to go to. I mean, we know Allergan, right? But like outside of that, I don't really know how to navigate that world. And so while I'm at the helm of the business, I think it's really important that we stay to what I can coach and guide the business in the best route possible.
Yeah. I love that. And it's getting pretty crowded. I feel like everyone is now every med spa
Yeah,
offering so many of the same options plus things like it's like the GLP-1s coming into
I
everything
know.
as well. So who is your consumer? Can you give me like do you have like a persona or a types of people?
Yeah, our persona is Lauren. And Lauren is this 30 to 40-year-old woman who is predominantly single. Um, she loves wellness. She cares about her body. She wants to be taking care of her body as a way of like proactivity around skincare, skin health. Um, has a great job. And so she's got disposable income to spend, maybe not a ton, and really values how she spends it. And so it's this, really high value consumer who, has a disposable income but wants to spend it smartly because our client, this Lauren girl, she's really, really smart and she knows that she should be taking care of her skin every month, but doesn't need to break the bank while she's doing it or her schedule. So she's busy. She's got a big life. She cares about wellness. She wants to exercise. She goes to work. She probably works 50 hours a week. And so the time, component of Glowbar's value proposition is really important to her. And so I just turned 40 actually. So I keep joking to myself. I'm like, am I aged out of our demographic? Because for a while there, I was like, I built it for myself. But no, we have, everyone from 18-year-olds to
Yeah,
75-year-olds that come, but the main, you know,
sweet
member
spot.
client is 30 to 40.
What do you think mainstream kind of beauty retail and product brands don't understand about beauty shoppers today?
Um, I think how smart they are. The consumer is so discerning and so smart. And yet I think actually the past year, the traditional retail, world has understands this more, but for a period of time, I was like, you can't just sell them a shiny object anymore. They wanna
Mhm.
know the ingredients, they wanna know that it's had, clinical testing, they want to know it's going to be results oriented and it's actually going to do what it says it does. Um, and I think that, for a while there, products and brands weren't living up to that. And now I think the consumer is actually holding everyone pretty accountable. Like if you say this is going to help my dark spots, it better, or else we're going to go on Instagram, TikTok, shop my, like anywhere we can voice it and make sure that other clients are not, going to get fooled by this. And so, um, I think that that is really important. I also think that um, retailers got really excited about some of these average products at really luxury premium costs.
Mhm.
And so, what I think everyone's starting to understand is consumers that have a lot of disposable income or some to spend on beauty and skincare specifically, they don't need to spend $150 for 3 ounces of beautiful cream. There's really amazing brands that are creating beautiful products that are highly effective and are at really fair prices. And so, what's been cool about that is Glowbar gets to shine in both of those areas, right? Like we are highly customized, highly clinical. So we do what we say we're going to do, and our services do, and we're also at a really accessible price point. And so we're really excited about the market kind of shifting in that way.
Yeah. And presumably some of the growth in product sales also, it seems to be an increasing focus or not?
Yeah, you know, we are a services business first and foremost, right? A people business that does 30-minute facials. And that is what we always focus on.
Mhm.
But once we learned we were the largest facial membership in the world and we had defined this category of well care, right? Where wellness meets healthcare, and we were really the leader in that category, we were like, all right, we've got all of these people we see every month, but how do we service them the other 30 days out of the month? And it was like, we got to have our own brand. We're seeing, tens of thousands of people every single
Yeah.
month. Let's give them products that they can use at home in between their appointments. And so this year has definitely been a shift to that. In June, we launched our first product, Expert Cleanser, which you come into Glowbar and you wash your own face and use Expert Cleanser. And that's been a really fun launch. We've got a whole pipeline now. So it's been fun for me. It like allows my creative outlet and juices to, it's kind of like creating a new
Yeah.
brand within. And the client is trusts us. So we've already established that trust. I mean, that's the hardest thing when you launch a new brand. You know this better than me. It's like, well, how do I get the consumer to care about us and then trust us? And we basically built trust first and then launched product second.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And I noticed that you do sell other products too, especially
Yeah.
online. So it's not just that you're, trying to sell your own product. And I think that goes towards the kind of trust and expertise, both
Yeah.
being a curator as well as someone that can sell your own brand.
Yeah.
What do you go ahead?
I I think that like that actually was my strategy to gain trust before I even opened. I said,
Hmm.
I got to bring on and convince three of the best skincare brands that I know about out there to sell in my space. And they helped me build this business single-handedly. Like people would come in because they'd say, "Oh, I use Elta MD sunscreen. Oh, if Glowbar has Elta MD sunscreen, I should I think I can trust this brand." And so like that was strategic. I knew that I needed those brands way before I ever launched product.
Hmm. Yeah, no, amazing. Are there any beauty trends that you're particularly interested or excited about at the moment? I mean, there is just so many new products, so many products that are kind of the same, so many new things that pop up. Like, what are you excited about in beauty?
Yeah, I mean, we're all really excited about exosomes and really like understanding what else we can do at the cellular level. So, retinol, which is something that we all have been using, wearing, talking about for decades now, right? It's something that it was I don't know about you, but like the first ingredient I really added when I went from just like basic moisturizer,
Yeah,
right? And the derm talks about retinol and all that.
yeah,
But now I think there's this whole longevity conversation, even in skincare. And that's really healthcare, right? It goes back to that well care category that we've defined. So, yes, it feels good, it's wellness, but it's really taking care of your health. And so, from a longevity standpoint and proactivity standpoint with your skin, we're seeing a lot of plasmas, exosomes, be ingredients and products now, and that's going to help us all at a cellular level tackle wrinkles, hyperpigmentation, all of that stuff that we're all kind of combating.
yeah. I feel like longevity is kind of hitting every category. Yeah, interesting. I've definitely tried a few exosome and
Hmm.
facials of that sort of thing. So anything that you wish people would talk more honestly about when they talk about building a brand from scratch? I mean, most brands don't make it, and you're now, 6 years in, the biggest membership. Like, what are things that you wish that people talked about more when it comes to building brands and actually creating a business?
I'm going to share something that's like both sides of what I'm about to say, which is one, I think people being honest about how hard it is. Like, it is a grind. It requires every morning you to wake up as the brand and company's biggest cheerleader, even if you're having a day that doesn't feel like it. Uh, it's gonna make you get really honest with yourself and your abilities. It's gonna shine a mirror to you every single day. And it's going to require you to be so resilient on a daily basis that it can wear on you. And I think that like, everyone wants to be an entrepreneur now. It's like the cool kids thing. And I'm like, I actually like I love it and I don't regret it. And I like it's my dream come true. And it was perfect for me and my personality, but it's not the end all be all. It's really nice to work for someone else and go to sleep and not have to worry about payroll or, Glassdoor or LinkedIn. Like there's so much that you don't have to carry with you on your shoulders every day. And I think that that is just something I'm really open about. Like, and then conversely, how much fun it can be.
Yeah.
Like, this is so fun. And this is like, again, my dream come true. Like, holy crap. Like, I was able to have an idea in my brain, create it, put it out there to the world, have consumers really appreciate it and be ready for it, and have it thrive beyond me one day. Like, so cool. And how fortunate we are. And I think, like, it's just like both ends of the spectrum, no one really talk about. They like kind of stick to the middle, which is like, I'm doing a podcast. I got a piece of press. We have this accolade. I got like Instagram, I don't know, like I'm got all these followers on Instagram, all the like either like kind of basic stuff like day in my life, right? This is my day, or like accolades. And it's like, well, like talk about how much fun that day in the life is and talk about like, where it's challenging you so that we don't all feel alone. And that's where I really try to show up. I'm an open book. I'm super real. I try to be authentic at any beat. And I think it's given a lot of people like, oh, okay, it's not just me that feels this way. It's common, and we are all we're just human trying to, make something happen out there.
Yeah. You said earlier that, you're pretty outgoing, and, I can see your energy. Um, do you like being the visible founder? Is that something that you enjoy?
So great question. And I feel like now we're on a therapy session. So I just turned 40. And I have no greater pride than what I like. I'm more proud of Glowbar than anything else I've done in my life so far. I don't have children yet. So if I did, I wouldn't be insulting them. I don't want anyone to worry that I'm like, kids don't matter. But um, I think the first like 5 years, it was like, oh my gosh, like this is so amazing. And I get to be like, but I never wanted to create something that was reliant on me. And I'm happy to represent this brand until the day I die, and I likely will. But I don't need to be the shining star. I don't need to be, the face of this brand forever. And I think that now that I'm 40, I've started to kind of think about that. And empower the rest of my team. Like, I'm always like, can someone else do that so that they can have that moment, how they can shine in that moment? Like, I think founders, when they hold on too tight to a brand, they actually limit the brand. And I believe that creating a really successful company means you hire people that are way smarter around you, empower them to do what you do, and really allow them to shine and elevate. But it's been really fun to carry on my family legacy. And I think that's what gets me out of bed every morning, and really, really proud to be the founder and a founder-led business, because no one else is gonna tell Catherine Hines, my grandmother's story out there to
Yeah.
the world the way I do.
Amazing. What advice would you give your younger self?
I would give my younger self the advice of asking for help. I know I said that I do it a lot now, but it was a learned strategy. It was a vulnerability was something I had to learn at around 28 years old. And so, I wish that from, call it 20 to like 27, 28, I asked for more help. I think I saw it as like, we all have they talk about imposter syndrome, right? I
Mhm.
was young and I was proving myself and I didn't want anyone to think that I didn't know. And in hindsight, I'm like, oh my God, if I had just asked for help, like I actually probably would have moved even quicker. Um, yeah. And I think just like the compassion, giving myself some grace, I really wish I did at more moments, and still to this day, I wish I did. So, I'm still learning that one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I hear that a lot in terms of, yeah, when you're younger, you almost, whether it's just you don't think about it, or you don't think anyone will help, or you just think you can do it alone. I think that is one of the things about becoming a little more open to, yeah, I can get some help, and actually asking for it, and people give it. you know? I think that's the surprising thing. And once it happens once, then you start realizing that that's something that's open to you. Super interesting. What was it that made you more vulnerable and able to ask for help? Was there something in
I
particular?
Yeah, I had come to a place with my first job where I had given them everything I could and they had given me everything I could. And we parted ways. And it was kind of like this moment where I was like, how did I show up that didn't allow this relationship to be ongoing? Like, what was it about me? And, my therapist and I just did a lot of work on like how I was showing up, maybe why I was afraid to ask for help, why it was so insistent on being so independent and like navigating everything alone. And I think kind of being in that middle space between jobs was really where I started to just do that self-work. And I really like the first thing actually for me was calling this therapist. I was like, I need help. Like, I don't feel like I'm my best version of myself. This relationship was the best ever at my career in my career, and then, ended kind of stale, like not in a bad way, but just kind of like, all right, this isn't crushing it anymore. And asking her for help then showed me that like I can show up like that and still and be given the support and help, and I can do that in other areas of my life. So it's been a long road, but that was probably what was the impetus to really getting vulnerable.
Yeah. Well, oh, I mean, you're in beauty and wellness. What else do you do for yourself? What else do you do to stay grounded and feel, growth and self-preservation slash growth? Any
Yeah.
practices that you would recommend?
So this one might seem simple, but the mornings are mine. Until 10 a.m., 9 a.m., like 9, 10 a.m., it's Rachel time. And I'm an early riser. I go for a long walk on the West Side Highway. I think walking is what like has made me so healthy. And uh I'm not saying would has saved my life necessarily, but it has certainly allowed me to feel immense like happiness and joy and gratitude and confidence in myself. So I walk along the West Side Highway here in New York every single morning, and that's my time. I'm always hooting and hollering on the phone. I'm not totally zenned out alone, but that's really important to me to get those couple hours of taking care of me before I go and give myself to work, my community, etc. Um, I have ebbed and flowed in self-care. So, I oscillate between body work, whether it's massage, lymphatic drainage, exercise. I do not claim to be the most consistent worker outer. I can't say that yoga has like made me zen and grounded. I can't stand yoga, but I love Pilates. I've really been trying to weight train more because as we get older, it's so important. And I'm excited about this next chapter. I'm really like in a self-care, quiet space, which is new for me. I say no to a lot of things, which I think is actually a mode of self-care. I really I don't go to a lot of like events anymore, and not because I don't love them, but I had, 20 years of doing them, and um, my nights are better spent going to bed early, waking up early, and nourishing this body that I'm in. So, yeah, I'm always working on it. I went and lifted this morning, and I have to tell you, it was my first time back in 4 months, and I am like struggling over here. My legs, I'm like, oh no, that 4 months has really done me in. So I'm always trying to evolve.
Amazing. Well, I can't believe we're running out of time. We're going to go to quick fire, easy, quick questions. So, what is your desert island beauty product?
Sunscreen.
Very sensible. Okay. Best career advice, worst career advice you've ever had?
Best career advice is to network and maintain relationships. It's all about people. It's all about who you can call. Uh, Worst career advice is to play it safe like to take like the safe guaranteed route, that for me was not ever good advice. Everyone was so afraid when I told them I was leaving my job to start Glowbar. I mean, I think my dad looked at me like, with like these huge eyes being like, that's scary. Don't do it like so much. And I like, that just wasn't the right thing for me. So yeah.
Do you do you have mentors or role models who you talk to for help or have influenced your journey?
Yeah. At every different phase of growth, I've had different role models, mentors, um, just people I've met that I'm like, you're ahead of me in one way, and I have a lot to learn and gain from you. And so I ask for advice all the time. I'm not shy. You should see me on LinkedIn. I'm messaging to this day, to this day. I like will be like, hey, I'm navigating this. You seem like an expert. Can I get 10 minutes of your time? So yeah, I have not done this alone.
Just curious, do people reply?
9 times out of 10, yes.
I
And
know.
by the way, even before I had, what some might deem success or, accolades or recognition of any sort, I think it's all how you say it. And
Yeah,
I always go with like brevity and vulnerability. So I'm like, "Hi, Natasha. Like, you have clearly crushed it in your career. I have a lot to learn from you. Do you have 5 minutes? Would be so indebted to you." And people are like,
amazing.
"How can you say no to that?" Right?
I know. Yeah, amazing. What are things you wish consumers would stop doing with their skin?
Over exfoliating. I want you to stop messing around. Simplify your routine. I swear, and for me too, by the way, I am not immune to this. Between TikTok and Instagram and Google ads and podcasts, even like advertisements, we are purchasing on our phones so quickly that exfoliant that's going to make you look 20 million years younger, and the, toner that's going to make you glow like you've never seen. And it's like, stop testing new stuff. Find what works for you and just keep at it.
Yeah, I was having these like weird patches. My dermatologist told me to stop using products.
Yeah,
Like it's literally just too many products. What are your superpowers that have helped you be successful?
self-awareness, uh being approachable, really like no ego, no one like we're all human and treating everyone as such. Um, and I think like just being a people person, being able like having high EQ. So reading people, it actually stems from a very hyper vigilant childhood, which wasn't always so pleasant, but it served me really well in my career because I can be having a meeting and I'm pretty aware of how the other person is showing up through their facial expressions, their body language, their tone, their intonation. And so understanding people has definitely allowed me to succeed.
Amazing. Um, Last question. Um, Tell me someone that you are professionally jealous of.
Yeah. So speaking of people that I like, or do people respond? And I've tried a few times, but the person I am professionally jealous of is Sarah Blakely. She,
Of
started
Spanx.
Spanx as a single woman. And I started Glowbar as a single woman. And there aren't a lot of those stories out there because, unfortunately, a lot of women can't start businesses single because it's financially, expensive and a lot of risk. And it's just not what this world is set up to support today. And she was just my role model from day one because her experience was my experience. And I didn't have a husband or a partner at home paying rent or providing for me. And so from day one, she has been someone I admire so much. And then her success with Spanx, obviously, creating a category. But also, maybe more importantly, she has built her career while building a family and has a beautiful family, and she intertwines them into work, But I think also from what I can tell in social media is always the highlight reel, but I don't know, for some reason I believe it with her. Like she, is a family woman. She's a mom and is able to balance the two fairly well. And so I just like, when I think about having it all, which I think is very hard to do, and I'm sure she wouldn't say she has it all, but I would be really proud if her story was mine.
Amazing. Well, hang on. Had she written back?
Well, so I've never reached out to her besides on
Okay.
like DM on Instagram, which I'll DM anyone also, don't get me wrong. So she's never written back on Instagram. I think she has probably millions, if not
For
hundreds of
sure.
thousands of followers. But I have been in touch with someone that manages some of her money, and that was as close as I've gotten. But
All
no, I've
right.
never been in the same room as her. But hopefully one day I will be fortunate enough, and I will actually fangirl. Like if it's between like a Kardashian and Sarah Blakely, I like
Yeah.
never need to talk to the Kardashians, even though I adore them. I would just really love a minute of her time.
I I think this is gonna happen. I believe it. Um,
I hope.
gosh, Rachel, thank you so much. Yeah, thanks for your time. I'm so grateful. I'm sure there's so many women out there that will be thinking about you just as you think about Sarah Blakely. So
Thank you.
amazing. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
And hopefully we'll get to hang out and meet IRL
I
one
would
day.
love
I'll,
that.
I'll email you. Um, Thanks so much for listening. Please do take a look at some other episodes we've done. You can find them on Spotify, Apple, YouTube. Subscribe, share, like. A quick thank you to Shimmy, my producer. You can follow me, Natasha Jakubowski, on LinkedIn or on professionaljealousy.com. Yeah, hope to catch you all soon, and thank you so much.